So here we are, April 2024 collection so far. So we've got Lord of the Rings with custom decals, a custom powder coat, and some custom plastics. These were designed by my wife and cut by Collie Wobbles. You can find them on Pinside. The back glass you can find from Zianic. Here we have one of the prides in our collections, our own custom pinball machine. It's a re-theme of a Johnny Mnemonic, featuring custom powder coat, custom artwork, apron cards, custom playfield, custom plastics, music, sound, artwork, side blades, speaker panel, back glass, you name it, it's got it. Definitely been more than happy with the way this one came out. Hopefully I'll be bringing this one to Pinfest. Star Trek Premium. One of my few favourite Sterns, if I'm honest with you. I used to have nothing but Sterns back in the day. These days, they're few and far between in my collection. But this one has a definite soft spot in my heart, featuring like colour DMD, a couple of mods here and there. So just near the Vengeance, you can see probably, for those that are aware, it's got a custom drop target that's translucent, as well as a Vengeance sort of torpedo shot mod. It just helps with the building the atmosphere in the game. Got another pride in my fleet here, Scared Stiff. One of my favourites, to be honest with you. Very few games, to be honest with you, that have lasted as long as this one in my collection. One of my favourite Bally's. And this one's got a brand new cabinet, new playfield, new plastics, new ramps, colour DMD. Back glass again from Zianic. And a Predetti topper. Definitely, oh yeah, I've even forgot to mention, I completely blazed over that one. Custom coin door. And again, that was designed by myself. We got Bram Stoker's Dracula. Custom artwork by Retro Refurbs. And you have to forgive me here, I think it's KSI or KSM that made the original playfield artwork, but this was restored by Scott. And again, custom plastics, custom apron, custom artwork on the side blades, custom speaker panel, custom back glass. That was designed by my wife, as is the speaker panel. She's going to get annoyed with me calling her my wife all the time. I'll say it's Holly. Another one that sits pride in my fleet here. I really would, to be honest with you, it would take a very good game to make me swap this one out. Wreck 'Em Boy, made by Spooky. I think it's, to be honest with you, their best game. People would argue it's probably TNA. But for me, the license of this game, the artwork, the sound package, the lighting, the gameplay, it's all for me, it's perfect. If you're not a fan of the theme, it won't do much for you, I think. But for me, it definitely is spot on. Here we've got another one that sits very fondly in my heart, Monster Bash. Again, it would take a very, very good game to make me part with this one. We've got a custom Translight by Flyland Designs, colour DMD. Cabinet's been completely restored by myself. New artwork applied. Custom powder coat on pretty much everything, including the coin door. Even on the interior leg plates, just because I could. Very much enjoy this game. still one of my favourite Williams games. I think, like, to be honest, but my favourite Bally has to be Scared Stiff, and favourite Williams has to be Monster Bash for me. It really does. Then we got Theatre of Magic. Again, full restore by myself. It's got Flyland Design, Translight, cabinet decals, and side art blades. I think I was one of the first people in the UK to adopt the package, so to speak. I much prefer it to the original artwork. I know there'll be people out there saying sacrilege, but in all honesty, it just modernizes the game a bit for me. Brings it up to a kind of a more modern standard of what a DMD might look like in today's artwork packages, with that of people like Zombie Yeti and so forth. I just feel like this one's just gives it a bit more extra glitz. Again, it's got powder coated rails there, new plastics, new ramps, completely like rebuilt trunk. You got the custom Tiger mod, which activates along with the custom code when you hit the Tiger saw. A couple of mods here dotted about. Only a few. I don't really like overdoing it when it comes to mods. Just enough to help build the world. Usual stuff as well that I've done in all my games that I really go to town on. Custom apron. Not apron, custom apron, sorry, but powder coat apron. I predominantly, where possible, like to rebuild the plungers as well and put new plunger rods on. This one is courtesy of Ant on Pinball Info. Does a nice job for me with these plunger heads. Much better than the original ones. I've got another favourite of mine, so basically the two puppetry games side by side really. Circus Voltaire. Again, fought long and hard to get this one. Paid over the odds for it probably, if I'm honest, but it doesn't matter. For me, it was one of the few games I didn't actually have to bother restoring the cabinet on. Like all the games that I've demonstrated here, every one of them has had a cabinet rebuild, except for Rick and Morty. Like every one of them, they've all needed work in one form or another, whether that was rebuilding corners or even just filling holes and stuff like that, where they've been like, you know, lock bar, extra lock bar retention bars that fitted over the front of the coin doors. Circus Voltaire has definitely, again, got a soft spot for me. I like this game. A lot of people really don't like the code and probably some of the shots, if I'm honest, with the maybe a bit of the unfairness when it comes to the ball launch. But I love it. Anything with like a lot of toys in it, and again, this one I've got color DMD LED in it. We've got like change for the neon tube for green. It's had some like cliffy protectors added in around the rollover targets. Just some minor stuff really to this one. It didn't need a lot, if I'm honest, in terms of work. It's a very nice conditioned game. It's had polished, which unfortunately is a fingerprint magnet, so apologies for that, but yeah, mirror polished rails and lock bar receiver. Again, if it hadn't already arrived in such great condition, I would have done something with the powder coat and changed it out, but in all honesty, it's one of the few that I didn't have to mess around with. This game here is on loan from Neil McRae, who's kindly handed it over to me whilst their club is basically being moved to another location. So shout out to Pinball Republic. Again, immaculate condition game, to be honest with you. When I received it, all I had to do was just give the playfield a quick clean and it's good to go. Great game. Brutal game, but great game. This is the Game of Thrones Premium. So that sums up the main room. I do have more, but they couldn't fit in all this. So we've got 10 machines at the moment, presently in this room. So here we are with part 2. So I'm in the middle of restoring this roadshow. The ramps, or rails even, have been taken off to be powdered, well actually to be plated, to be rechrome plated. This game had been left in a warehouse for a good part of 12 years. To give you an indication of what the condition looked like, this is the original coin door, and you can see the rust that was present on pretty much everything, including the leg plates. Everything had to be pretty much just either completely stripped or replaced. We've got like powder coated shooter plates. We've got powder coated legs, lock bar, rails, you name it, it's got it, including the lock bar hinges. Even the leg plates inside have all been powder coated, as well as the apron. Plastics have been fair condition. Posts have been fairly, I would say, rusted. If I was to go all out on this, which I'm tempted to do at one point maybe, if I plan to keep it, I'd probably look to replace the playfield and posts. But at the moment, it's more the focus on getting it into an operable state and then seeing if I want to keep it or not. The DMD unfortunately did not survive the journey, but I did have a spare one. And again, this has had a complete cabinet rebuild. The back box especially was in a bad condition. You can actually see signs of where the water damage was present if you look closely in that. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but that was wafering. This entire corner was actually missing. The hinge between the left and top frame would come apart, so it had to be effectively re-glued, reset, sanded down, resprayed. Yeah, a lot of work, huge amount of work, to be honest. One of the largest projects I've had to do to date. It's coming out good. It's had new LED comments put in it. I'm just waiting for an afterglow board to show up so I can get the smoothness of the transitions going on, because at the moment, as you can see, it's still a bit too rapid. It's one of the unfortunate natures of putting in LEDs on a power driver board that was designed for incandescence. Got a loan here from Neil McRae, again from Pinball Republic, so shout out to them. The Godzilla Premium. Definitely a favourite for most. Fortunately not for myself. I think it's definitely a game that shoots well. I think just to me I don't know, it lacks something that would make me want to keep it if I had it in my collection. I don't click with this game. This is probably shocking for a lot of people to hear, if I'm honest. On the right here, we've got a Bally wide body. I'm sure most people know it well. We've got a Twilight Zone. Again, this one was in fair condition when I got it. Cabinet was pretty beat up around the corners. Back corners were missing around, especially atypical of a machine of this age, where they had destroyed corner legs where it had probably been laid on its back on the bare tarmac and dragged along the floor. So it had to have new, what I call skis on the back. It had to be resprayed. Cabinet had to be like wood filled, sanded down, prepped. It's got nice new decals on it, so got none of the typical fade that you would have seen. It's had a new playfield fitted. And this one is the prototype playfield, which is denoted by the third magnet, which you can see in the top right over there. That is normally not present. That was part of the original design. Was removed because I believe they didn't find it necessary to have it. Unlike most people, I haven't really put an awful lot of mods in this game. I've added one car mod that I've done myself, which is tied back into the bottom pop bumper. And we've got a completely rebuilt clock. That thing was an absolute sod to find. Unfortunately, the person that had originally began disassembling this, but then lost the parts, and then unfortunately had passed away. So it was left into a position where I had to then source remaining parts for this, which was actually a lot more difficult than you would believe. Even just getting simple things like the screws was pretty difficult. People just don't stock them in this country, and I ended up having to source them from the States and the only place I could find it was in Marco Specialties, so shout out to them. It's had a brand new LED board in there as well, gets rid of the original issues of the incandescence. It's a nice board, to be honest with you. It took a little bit of fine tuning to get the optos lined up properly so they wouldn't catch with the, how can you put it, clock arms. Newer playfield to match the prototype playfield. Again, that was a real sod to fit. Anything with a clear coat on it, which, you know, game tolerances are very particular of this games of this day and age. It's just, they're not designed for that extra thickness. So you end up faffing around trying to get things to fit that naturally just don't want to once they've added extra thickness, but you know, you got there in the end. It's had a dotted amount of new plastics fitted to it. So we've had one here for the shoot lane, slingshot area, lane guides, and then basically where they were left in good condition, I've kept them as is. You can kind of see from this one, it's got that kind of little bit of ghostiness to the area that should be translucent. Couple of mods in it, nothing special. As I mentioned before, we've got the gumballs, which is pretty much, I think, a go-to for everybody. And then we've got the Predetti TV there that plays clips from the series. And that's pretty much it. It's had incandescence removed and comets put in, and then obviously obligatory colour DMD. And then it's got an original translight. And obviously a new coin door. It's just a good idea. I often replace all my coin doors, so this one will eventually get one. But at the moment I'm just waiting for the parts to arrive. That concludes the tour for 2024 April.